there. Thank you so much for watching the replay. Today, we're going to be talking about our house sitting services so you can figure out if they're a great fit for you and your pets. So speaking of pets, let me go ahead and close this door so we don't get interrupted. Knew I was forgetting something. It's like, just close that so we won't get interrupted by my foster cats. I have 5 of them at the moment, so they tend to want to be the center of attention all the time. But I'm curious who you are, where you're watching from. So if you wouldn't mind just letting me know in the comments where you're watching, as well as what do you have for pets? And of course, if you're watching on the replay, please include #replay. All right. So my name is Nissa. I'm the owner of Magic of Paws, and I'm here to help you help your pets. Specifically, today we're talking about how we can help you when you're out of town. First, we're going to talk about our what our house sitting service currently looks like before looking at the changes that we're making. And finally, we'll go over what this means for you and your pet, and we'll take your questions if you have any. So, throughout the whole stream, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to pop them down in the comments, and I will get to them throughout this whole video. But this should be pretty short. So let's first go over what we're currently doing. So we currently offer 2 different levels of our overnight house sitting service. The main difference between them is how they're scheduled on our end and what it looks like for our team. So in level 1, our sitters get booked for other services in addition to that overnight house sitting that they're doing. This means they can still work shifts here at the resort, walk other dogs, do drop-in sitting visits as needed, just like they normally would. The only difference is what house they're going to at the end of the day. Level 2, the sitter would not be scheduled for any other services or shifts. However, in both versions, the sitter fits in walks and potty breaks where it works in their schedule. So both levels include the same basic service: overnight care, feedings, medications, getting the mail, watering plants, neighborhood walks, potty breaks, litter box scooping, just your basic necessities for care. Additional services like grooming, enrichment, and transportation to the resort for playgroups can be added for an additional fee. So this has been how we've been running our pet sitting service for about 1.5 years now. And what we've discovered is that we need to make a change. The old way was making it difficult for us to provide the high quality care that we strive to provide. In level 1, the animals in our care weren't getting the amount or the quality of care that we would have preferred because our sitters were being booked for for other services like walks and sitting visits. And while there always was a time for a potty break for the dogs, it just never felt like there was enough time to really make the dogs that we were sitting for feel special. But level 2, on the other hand, took an entire staff member away from our team and made it more difficult for everybody. So we would be running short-staffed here at the resort, as well as we would have fewer sitting visits to provide, fewer walks to be able to provide. And that was having an impact on our regular everyday clients that trust us to take care of their animals every single day of the week. And that didn't seem fair either. So obviously something needed to be changed. So we sent out a survey last week, somewhere around there, to our current clients to find out what was most important to them when it came to house sitting so that we could revamp our services to meet those expectations. The overwhelming thing that people cared about was the amount of time that their animal was left home alone. So what we've decided going forward is that level 1 is going to pretty much stay the same. It will guarantee care from last meal of the day to first meal of the day. The sitter will not be feeding and then leaving as they have been for the past 1.5 years. If needed, they will be in from last meal to first meal. That being said, we may need to move meals a little bit one way or the other, but in general, assume that your dog is getting 12 hours of overnight care. We can't guarantee the number of hours that's being there because then we start getting into crazy labor laws and all of that. Level 2 will be similar in the fact that you will get that 12 hours of guaranteed overnight care, but you also will be guaranteed that your dogs will be getting a potty break every 3 to 4 hours. I put a little bit of a wiggle room in there. It gets scheduled in our system that they get a potty break every 3 hours. However, traffic, animals, they all like to throw wrenches in the works. So that's the main difference. We're still going to keep the additional services as an additional fee. So if your dog needs brushing while we're taking care of them, that will be continue to be an additional fee. Same with if we do any enrichment puzzles or go on any long hikes or anything like that. What will also happen is going forward, we are developing a sheet that we will hand out that will give you prior to every house sitting stay with a list of additional services and what you're okay with us providing if needed, and what you would prefer that we reach out and ask you for permission prior to providing that care. So things like brushing your dog, giving them a bath, things like that are things that may not necessarily need to happen on every single stay. But if something does happen, do you want us to be reaching out to you? Like, say your dog's coat starts to look a little matted. Do you want us to reach out to you prior to brushing your dog? Or do you want to just give us blanket permission to say, hey, whatever grooming services you feel like my dog absolutely needs, feel free to provide? Same thing with nail trims or baths if they get into something super stinky, as opposed to what house sitting services have currently looked like has been pretty much just hosing a dog down if they get into anything and wiping them off with grooming wipes and that sort of thing. What we are now able to provide is transporting them here to the resort to get an actual real bath with quality shampoos, as well as a blowout and all of that to just make sure that they're getting really clean if they do get into anything super gross and disgusting. So all those changes, they might seem pretty minor to you, but they're pretty major to us. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to talk them over with you and answer your questions. So even if you're watching the replay, please drop your questions in the comments so that we can answer them to the best of our ability. Now, what does this look like? What is this going to look like? Mean for any upcoming stays? So we will be sending this video out as an email to our existing clients who have sitting services booked with us to see which version they prefer, whether they want to go with a level 1 or a level 2, or we do have a third option that I haven't really touched on, which is called hourly sitting. Hourly sitting is for if you have dogs that cannot be left alone, or you do not want to be left alone. If you want as close to 24-hour care as is humanly possible, that is going to be your best option. Basically, what that entails is you're paying us an hourly rate of $18 an hour, if I'm remembering correctly, to care for your animals, but the sitter never leaves. They don't run errands, they don't go to the grocery store, they don't come here, they don't do anything but stay there unless some major emergency comes up. And even then, we would swap in a different person to cover that hourly care. So that gets pretty expensive. Most people don't opt to go that way, but I did feel like I should bring that up if you do have a dog that you do not want to be left alone at all. Not even the 3 to 4 hours at a time that is included in the level 2. So if you currently have a sitting booked with us, be prepared to get an email from us explaining the difference between level 1 and level 2, and we'll swap you if needed, or you can keep on your current plan. Obviously, we're still going to make sure that your dog gets out in the middle of the day, that they aren't crossing their legs. We still are making sure that we're providing good quality care under level 1, but level 2 just kind of guarantees that it puts it in the schedule and makes it sure so that particular sitter can't get overbooked at all. So as far as how this is going to look going forward, it's totally up to you which you pick. It's going to be the same booking process. It's going to look almost exactly the same. The only difference is that you will be getting that handout of, hey, here are some things that we offer. Would you like us to do this every day, as needed, not at all, as with permission? Gives you some different control ways to communicate what might be needed for your pet and what you're okay with spending, so that we don't necessarily need to bother you on your vacation to say, hey, your dog is covered in those annoying little sea pods. Can we go ahead and brush them out to try and get everything out so they're nice and comfy? Nobody wants their vacation interrupted with something so basic and simple that you could have taken care of prior to leaving. But that's been the case for the past year and a half or more. We've been having to reach out to people to ask these somewhat silly questions, just because a lot of times additional products and time are needed to provide these services beyond what's included in the standard overnight house sitting. So that's it. That's all I've got. If you have any questions, like I said, do not hesitate to go ahead and pop them down in the comments. Reach out to us. We are happy to help. It's pretty much, it is our motto. We're helping you help your pets. You must notice it on everything that we do. I'm sure it gets annoying sometimes. But anyway, if you have any questions, I know this is a somewhat big-ish change. Do not hesitate to reach out, and we will do our best to come up with what's best for you and your pet. All right. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we look forward to seeing you and your pet soon.